Hi, I'm Onyxia, or as my friends like to call me, Onyx. So, a little bit about myself. I'm from a small little town here in New Talkit. My family, we live at the base of a mountain, and we kind of always look up to it. We kind of have this thing where giants kind of ruled the world one day back when, and we kind of just like to follow in their footsteps. But enough about my family. It's more about me and my favorite person in the whole world, my grandma. But, right, myself. So let's see here. I like making friends. I'm pretty curious about what's going on. And, I kind of like mysterious things. And if I can use my nose to figure out a mystery, you better believe I'm gonna do it. But my story begins about 25 years ago. That's how old I am. And I used to spend a lot of my days with my grandmother. Her name was Grandma Arikson, or as I called her, Grammy Ari. And I will say that she had a lot of grandchildren, but I was kind of her favorite because I was the only one that would listen to her and go to the mountain and practice magic with her and really just kind of cared about what she did. But enough about that. So basically, I learned everything that I know from her. She was my best friend, and well, she was my role model. I guess she still is my role model. Well, a few years ago, my grandma and we were out on the mountain on a beautiful night, and we were looking up at the stars, and she was telling me the story, and it was just one of those, everything feels right. And I don't really remember everything that happened, but something happened in my village, and they were looking. Well, these people were looking for my grandma, and, well, they found her, and, well, not to be a little morbid, but they did kill her. But before she passed, she kissed my forehead, and all of this stuff started happening. And she used to have this pet, raven, and its name is Eclipse, or Clips as we call it. They were like best friends too, always going everywhere. And after she kissed me, Eclipse started following me around, which is kind of cool because the more I'm learning about it, the more I'm learning that Eclipse is not just a normal raven, but it's kind of pretty special. My grandma said her last words, and this is very important. She said, "I love you. I want you to remember that, and know that I will always be with you." And well, I guess she's never left. Weird, but okay, not what I want to talk about. And I'm being asked to tell a little bit about what I'm doing. So right now I'm in my room, in the big pomegranate, because my family, we have this tradition that when we turn 25, we go out and we explore, just like the long lost, or well, lost to us, giants of the days of past. And so I'm on my sojourn and I'm traveling around exploring, and here I am. I know there's a big festival going on, so I said, well, let's head that way. And I turned my tail, and that's where I am. So right now I'm just in my room. It's pretty nice for what I can afford, but it's not bad. I'm really excited for this festival. I'm excited to make some new friends because, let me tell you, it's been a little lonely here on the roads. I'm just looking forward to what the future brings me.
Haha, howdy guys! My name is Chime Turner, and some people call me the most gifted clockmaker in, I don't know, 7 generations? Anywho, I've always been proud of my family, and we've done a whole lot of work for this city. We sure know our stuff and what makes a clock tick, literally. I'm a bit ashamed to say this, but well, I started getting a bit bored with the humdrum, day-to-day clocks and started working on a project of my own. And boy howdy, did it take a long time before it worked. Oh, but boy did it work. And my eyes were opened. Time is a construct. There is no God. We are controlled by the Supremes. It's all just a game.
Growing up in Hillmouth, an area known for its high concentration of Lushapan halflings, I was surrounded by me extended family. Me mother, Aoife McDougal O'Doul, overprotective, always trying to feed everyone. Went from homemaker to essentially Rosie the Riveter during the war. Me da, Patrick Paddy O'Doul Jr., was an apple orchard farmer. Fell from a tree a bit before the war, and has been sort of laid up since. He was unable to fight in the war. My younger sister, Saoirse O'Doul, turned an old farmhand's house into a B&B, and runs that along with the apple stand and the cidery. My baby brother, Finn O'Doul, runs the orchard now, but he's a bit young and over his head. He's kind of a savant. He gets the right answer, but how he gets there, it makes no sense. In the days before the war started, and everybody knew it was on the cusp of happening, my father took me aside and after working at the orchard one day, and he said, "Son, you know, war is brewing, and you have a choice to make, volunteer or conscription. If you go to them, you get some choice of what you'll do, but if they come get you, they dictate everything. Plus, volunteers are heroes." The next day, I enlisted and started training. One day, relatively early in the war, a troopmate of mine stepped on a landmine. I was too close. I was sent flying, and when I came to, I was told it's been a couple of days later, and that I was in a super secret lab underground at the Capitol. Before I was even aware of my surroundings, a human male and half-elf female entered the room. They never introduced themselves. They told me that my accident gave me the opportunity to help my people in ways I could never imagine as just a foot soldier. This was about when I realized I had been restrained. I was told if I really wanted to freak out, I should look at my right arm, and just below the elbow, it was gone. While they spoke to me, a doctor came over with a prosthetic. The doctor started installing it while the two told me about how the prosthetic worked and its special capabilities. I could barely hear them. I was on the verge of complete shock. By the time my head was clear again, they finished with a line I'll never forget: "You are now a proud agent of Duradika." A day later, I was taken to a training course to learn my new capabilities. And the day after that, I started working in the field. My biggest stop was to go in advance of the troops to Peachtree, where they planned to fight and burn the city down. I got there and started the fire in earnest an hour before the main force arrived. Military force all over in a panic, and then our people arrived to take over.
Velvet was named for the clubroom floor material he was conceived on. Anyone could have been his biological father, and his mother might as well have not been there at all. When Velvet was old enough to walk and think for himself, he was sent out to do something besides eat, drink, and shit. He was found and taken in by the local City Guard youth training group. There, they taught him how to fight and sense danger as a paladin. He came of age and joined the City Guard, learning the ways of the town he came to long to protect. His fellow guardsmen, though, got involved in some messy business, and Velvet ended up having to kill one of his own. Little did he know that his self-defense scenario turned murder led to him taking on all the debt his victim owed to the Mafia. With the shame of his ties to the criminal underworld, he took to bartending instead at a speakeasy to earn his keep and pay back the debt that was thrown on him. He's been bartending now at this speakeasy for coming up on 10 years. He hopes to one day be free of his debt, and especially hopes that others don't end up like him. So he helps patrons of the bar in their times of need. Nightlife is his life. He detests the bright sun, and he doesn't wake up much past late afternoon. He takes pride in the establishment he works for. He keeps it clean, flowing, and he keeps it under the radar while he works there. He does his best for everyone. That way the whole group and society at large will benefit. He seeks to dismantle the system of government oppressing his place of business, and he tends to overreact to a drunken challenger. There's not a bar he won't fight in.
As Morpheus Strickfander gradually awakened, he found himself lying in a dimly lit room, surrounded by shadows that danced across the walls. His mind felt foggy, as if shrouded in a thick mist that obscured memories and identity alike. Slowly pushing himself up, he glanced around, taking in the sight of the unfamiliar chamber. Beside him lay two metallic orbs, their surfaces glinting faintly in the subdued light. Though they seemed foreign and enigmatic, A strange sense of familiarity washed over Morphier as he reached out to touch them. As his fingertips made contact, a surge of energy pulsed through him, sparking a flicker of recognition in the depths of his consciousness. No recollection of his past, Morphier found himself adrift in a sea of uncertainty. He found himself mixing with all sorts of people, not really being able to tell if someone meant him harm or good. Embracing the chaos that engulfed him, Morphier embraced a philosophy of spontaneity and indulgence. To him, life was a grand tapestry of experiences waiting to be woven, each thread adding its own unique hue to the vibrant mosaic of existence. Driven by an insatiable thirst for excitement, Morphier became a daring risk-taker, unafraid to plunge headlong into the unknown. His brash demeanor and penchant for speaking his mind often left others taken aback. Yet beneath the surface lay a subtle madness, reminiscent of the enigmatic grin of a Cheshire cat. Over time, Morphier began to unravel the mysteries of the metallic orbs that had been his companions since awakening. Within their depths, he discovered regions of extraordinary power, catalysts that hinted at the boundless potential lying dormant within him. With each revelation, Morphier's understanding of his own abilities blossomed, filling him with a newfound sense of confidence and self-assurance. In his quest for discovery, Morphier found solace amidst the dimly lit confines of a clandestine speakeasy, where he worked as a bartender, his keen ears attuned to the whispers of gossip and intrigue that whispered through the shadows. It was here that he forged connections and unraveled the mysteries of his past, one cocktail at a time. Clad in attire befitting a gentleman of decent taste, Morphier sported leather-like gloves adorned with metallic claws, a subtle reminder of the primal nature that lurked beneath his civilized facade. With each passing day, he embraced the chaos of his existence, knowing that within the swirling maelstrom lay an uncertainty, the true essence of his life's meaning. The last rays of the day's sunlight streamed through the crowded speakeasy. Smoke-filled room was alive with the sound of clinking glasses and jovial conversation, while movers and shakers made deals in every corner. The smooth jazz coursing through the room is interrupted as the front doors burst open. "This is a raid. Everybody freeze." Morphier's stick-stander sets down the glass he was cleaning. The metallic tips of his clawed gloves are shining as much as the glassware. Fixes his golden-rimmed eyes on the newcomers, his hand instinctively reaching down to touch one of the golden orbs at his side. The eyes of the patrons flip between himself and the group. With a practiced movement, he straightens his waistcoat and heads towards the door, paying no heed to the guns being pointed in his direction. With a smile not unlike a Cheshire cat, he says, My gentleman, you look awfully thirsty. Why don't I fix that for you?" The officers look at one another and begin to surround him.
For as long as she can remember, Corey's known the sound of crashing waves was as much part of her as her own name. The tangy scent of salt and the sound of billowing wind on fabric have always been home. Her dreams, her nightmares, her ever-present soundtrack has always been, and will always be, the ocean. With a father and his crew who raised her to make her living on the sea, Corey has never missed a beat. Whether she's slipping into an accent she learned from one of the crewmates to throw off would-be arresters, or fudging the ship ledger to pinch a few extra goods or coin here and there, she hasn't been caught yet. She doesn't plan on that changing. You see, her father found her floating in what he called a pod. She had no idea what the hell's that meant, but she didn't argue. You can't interrupt the captain when he's telling a story, when he's in a once-in-a-double-blue-moon mood to reminisce.
The SS Cordelia, that was your namesake. The beauty of a ship I was at the helm of when I found you. Jones? Well, of course, that was Davy Jones himself. Silly girl, have I taught you nothing? Anyways, when I found you, that strange pod seemed like it was breathing, almost as alive as you were. That gave me a right start. I couldn't help myself, though. As soon as I heard your little muffled cries inside of that metal monstrosity, I had the men go out in the lifeboats and scoop you up. We couldn't just leave you there. I somehow knew you were going to be my little accomplice, and that's what you became.
Her father, a rare breed of fawn from up north, much to the surprise of those who judged him upon first glance, was a quiet and gentle man with her. She couldn't blame people for being wary of him. A deep, coarse voice, a broken antler, scars covering his face, and tattoos up his arms that slipped under his rolled-up sleeves didn't exactly endear him to the common folk on the land. However, he'd sooner throw a crew member overboard than let anyone treat her as lesser. She was raised by well-meaning men and thems who were patient and taught her to navigate, load a cannon, shoot an arrow, tie a knot, throw a punch. She could go on. Is it not suitable for a lady? You bet she's 100% gonna become the best humanoid at it the world over. Unlike her father, Corey is an astral elf. Her long white hair stays in a Dutch braid down the center of her head, her green eyes stay alert at all times, and a smug smile is never far from her lips. Neither is a dirty joke or a sarcastic remark. Sound unruly? You're damn right. She wouldn't have it any other way.